Yay.
Action. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, Jaleesa.
How are you?
Good. I feel like we just mentioned, like I feel like I'm really excited about like where things are gonna go. So, which is good because like you were saying too earlier in the year, I feel like it was just kind of heavy and like I don't know, it just felt like we were like drudging through everything. Whereas now I feel like I'm like skipping, or like that's like the energy, like very like you said, light and springy and definitely
Yeah,
good.
I agree. It's so nice. And I think to your point, next year will be it's gonna be better than this year, I feel like. Apparently this year had the same energy as 2012. Did you hear that?
Oh, I saw that some people they were saying they mistook like when they were talking about the Mayan calendar ending in 2012. They said that I don't know there could have been a mistake and they could have been talking about 2020, which definitely feels like it.
Yeah, that feels accurate.
So I'm like, oh, I see that.
Amazing. So why don't you pull some cards for us, for our audience, and let
Yeah.
us know
Ooh,
what the energies are gonna. Ooh,
ooh, they're like jumping out.
feel like we have something
Okay.
to say.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the first one came was you're very close to achieving your goals. And then the second one is work through your fears. So very much like what we are talking about, it's just very like anticipatory, like super exciting energy right now. And we also mentioned that we're like, well, we're really excited. And actually the bottom deck energy is luck is on your side. So it's just like all going towards that same thing. So we might have to work through some fears. So maybe everything's not going to be like super shiny just yet, but I think once we get through it, it's going to be I'm getting like just yeah, like very magical vibes. And I told you too, like even like in the most random places, people start talking about like astral projection and star seeds, and I'm just like, it's like it's the coolest thing ever. Because like a few years ago, I feel like everything you had to be like secret and like do your cards at night and like keep all your witch gear like at home. But now it's like everybody's just like open about it. They're like, oh yeah, like I'm trying to astral project. Like I spoke to a spirit last night, and you're just like, oh, this is so cool.
It's so funny. Like I just love reminiscing about the days when you had to downplay how much you were into this stuff. Like, oh yeah, I only like ghost stories, you know what I'm saying? Or yeah, I like pull out the tarot cards during Halloween, like it's fun. Don't you like
Mhm.
it? Um, yeah, I'm glad those days are behind us.
Yeah, like I'm still like not fully believing it because it's like, for example, like the people that I like texted you about, it was just like all these people's like tags are like King Crypto and just like all, stuff about like cryptocurrencies and stock markets, and then all of a sudden it's like Starseed quote. And I'm like, what? And I don't know if this person is exactly it, but like like Crypto Susie is like, and then they'll like start doing hashtags too, spiritual crypto fam. And I was like, it's so cool.
It is very cool. The alternative is becoming
Hmm.
mainstream. Very interesting to watch that happen in this
Yeah.
lifetime. Um, I guess we won't be burned at the stake again.
Did you ever feel like
I guess
we
that's
would get
over.
here though? Like, I feel like I never did. I thought I would always just be like, I don't know, like in the closet, like secret.
I always worried about that. And I think I've told you this before, and even maybe discussed it on one of these calls, but I always worried about that in regards to relationships because I always found like, especially black guys, even if you're not like super religious, you kind of grow up socially Christian or whatever. And so I always felt like, oh, damn, I might have to compromise when I get into a serious relationship with someone or when we have kids. Like, how am I going to explain that you can meditate and meet a fairy? Like, I think my husband's not going to be with that. And it's still sometimes like a little bit of a concern. But for me, at this point, I'm so like strong in my beliefs that I kind of feel like this person needs to either be on board or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like, move on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think even like, I feel like I'm seeing more and more men talk about it. Maybe not quite like fairies or that, but
Right.
definitely just like, I feel like guys are way more open to meditation, like healthy eating and astral projection. And um, Yeah, in like the
conspiracies.
vortex, like law of attraction. And it's so funny to see too, just like how the same topic is shown different places. Cause I feel like at least at the beginning of last year, I feel like there were all these like YouTube channels about, or just like videos about manifestation, but I feel like they were all like girly and pink and stuff. But then I feel like, um, or like about like, oh, I'm manifesting clothes, but then guys are, I feel like more like I'm manifesting cars and money and stuff. But it's just interesting that it's like one topic, but it's like kind of universal. Everybody now is like at least familiar with like the concepts of law of attraction, which also is crazy, like to think back on 2012 and like The Secret. Like when it first came out, it was kind of like a secret to like watch The Secret. And now everybody's like, oh yeah, I like The Secret. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's like we're coming out of hiding.
And I also think that Oprah had a lot to do with that. Like, she's not the sole reason, but I feel like she's like one of the first celebrities of her caliber to really kind of invite guests on that are a little more like kooky. Shirley MacLaine back in like the 80s or 90s, who was talking about like the aura. Um, I'm thinking about guests like this guy she had on who talked about his near-death experience. I think Oprah loves near-death experiences, by the way. I think she loves talking about that stuff. Um, and I remember this episode really impacted me before I even started identifying as like a witch or anything like that. But this guy was talking about how he was in a car crash coming from like Asia, and he saw all of these energies leaving people's bodies, and some of them were really light and some of them were really dark. And from then on, he wasn't a religious guy. He came off very kind of stoic even on the show, but he said ever since then he decided he wanted to live his life in a way that when he did pass, he wanted his energy to look like the light. And that really impacted me. So I love like celebrities who have kind of been honest and open. And by the way, speaking of, did you hear our girl Miley Cyrus and her crazy behind was talking about how she saw ETs or ships?
No.
Her and Demi Lovato both admitted that they believe in aliens.
Dude, that's awesome.
See, it's becoming so like mainstream. I think it's going to be really hard for the government to continue to like minimize this. It's going to be hard because
Yeah.
people are waking up and they're like having their own experiences, and it's interesting and awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And actually, so not ETs, but I was watching the Jeffree Star Ryland Adams podcast that just came out this week.
Oh,
Like I saw like a recap and I was like, oh, I thought I canceled Jeffree Star, but let me just like check it.
you love him. You might as well own it. It's all good.
I go back and forth, but
He's
like,
entertaining. Uh-huh.
yeah. And yeah, he showed like a video surveillance footage of like a little girl ghost walking. And Julie said you could see the ghost like walking, like feet movings and stuff.
Ooh.
And then everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is like indisputable evidence. And I was like, dude, I don't know, it was crazy. But like to see that and then on like a, pretty like trending video is like crazy too. Not just on like one of the conspiracy theory, like ghost story channels, which I like those too, but
I love it. I love watching ghost stories on TLC or Discovery something ID,
mm,
wherever it comes on at.
yeah, like now my YouTube like recommended are it's all like tarot readings, ghost stories, like
Oh my God, yes. Tell me, like, what are all of your recommended videos? Or what's the
um
most random one you've gotten so far?
oh, let me try to think. Um
I
I
know,
feel like that's
random
hard because
question.
oh yeah, no. I'm like I feel like usually like whenever I get them, I'll like tell someone, and now I'm trying to think. I feel like I get like dog ones too, and then like
Oh,
I get random like celebrity interview ones that are like a minute long, and they're like interviewing this celebrity about this, and then of course you have to click it. You're like, oh, let me just, it's only a minute. Let me like speed it up and like watch it. But yeah, I watch too much YouTube.
yeah, same. For me,
It's like an addiction I don't want to get rid of.
it's a good one, depending
Hmm.
on what you're consuming. But for me, it's like it depends on which channel I'm on because I have like multiple accounts. But like on this one that I happen to be on, I call this like my professional Jaleesa channel, and it's all like music recommendations so that I can listen and work. And then on my other one, which I made years ago, it's like the Dolan twins and like prank videos and like day in my life and routines. And then on the Priestess Potions one, which is like my spiritual one, it's like tarot videos. I have so many of your tarot videos that come up.
Oh.
Yeah, law of attraction, more day into my life, and like witch talk. Oh, something just fell. Sorry. I don't know if you heard it.
Ghost.
Exactly. So I don't know if you follow any of these videos, but like Witch Talk, which is basically TikTok and the community of witches there.
Oh, that's cool. No, I don't follow that one. I'll have to
They're
check them out though.
they're adorable. They have so many like tips for like how to summon spirits or how to do this spell or that spell, and I think it's like so cute. And I've just been after watching them, I've been so inspired to actually like witch, like you know what I'm saying, to actually make things, you know. So that's fun.
Yeah, I feel like well, especially December is like what they call like vlogmas. So a lot of creators are posting every single day and I'm like loving it. Like
I call it witch Sember.
nice.
Yes, witch Sember. It's all about witch. Everything's gonna be witch Sember, witch January, witch February. I'm gonna just keep it going. I don't know.
I like it.
Or priestess February. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
like it.
Let's see what's happening in February. As long as an asteroid doesn't hit us, I think it's gonna be a good year. Um,
Right, like I keep seeing stuff about asteroids, meteoroids, solar flares, and I don't know everything. And I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna put anything past it, but like, we'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah, I'm trying to be discerning with like what I allow into my brain, because even when you think about 2012, like the build up to December, I remember there were so many videos about like Nostradamus's predictions and end of the world and la 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 la, and it's just like, you know, none of us are God. You can't predict that stuff. Just roll with it. Like roll. It would be interesting though if we woke up one day and we just happened to be passing through a black hole. I mean, what would we do? Like,
Dude, that would be such a cool experience if we made
okay,
it out.
okay, Jennifer.
Well, I'll just like, I don't know, invert and come back out and be like,
Oh
oh, that was.
gosh. Oh gosh. The uncertainty of it freaks me out a little bit, but good.
Yeah, we'll
Awesome.
see.
We'll see. 100%.
Well, and you know what's crazy too about like 2012 is I feel like everyone was talking about the like computer programs and stuff. And like, if you think about how much more computerized we are now than then, it's just like insane. Cause I remember, and they're like, oh, we just don't know if the computers can handle going from 1999 to 2000. Oh, no, that was 99 to 2000, not 2012. But still, just to think about that, it's like crazy. Like that we actually thought that we're like, oh, I don't know if the computers could do it. And now it's like you could go to the moon with a microchip that's less powerful than our cell phones.
It just blows my mind. Like we were talking a little bit about projections and projecting like last week or so, and it just blows my mind how like we just have so many limitations up here. Like we literally think limitations into existence, and it's like so not true. It's not real. None of it is. So like yeah, like reminiscing on like our beliefs around computers back then and like what's possible now. I think Google is actually looking for ways to actually add something to our skin. I don't know if it's a chip or whatever, but so like you can actually control. I'm saying this wrong. Like your
Oh yeah, no,
computer,
like I yeah.
yeah, or your Google products from your skin. So there's no need for like an actual external device. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's really if I'm like a grandma and I'm the only one who feels this way. But I don't know about this like new world of like blending humans with technology, but I think that's the way we're gonna go soon.
Yeah, that's like crazy to think about. Like, and
To
I also feel
us.
like, yeah, like, but I bet there's a lot of people that are, I mean, I guess clearly if they're doing it, there's enough demand. And I guess I feel like Apple always like kind of created the product and then the demand. So I wonder if that'll happen. Like, I definitely feel like it seems like a lot, but But yeah, that's crazy.
It's going to be really interesting seeing how people grow with technology. I'm like already, not that I'm bashing technology at all. I'm like really grateful for it, but I'm like already so attached to my phone, Jennifer. It's not even funny. And it's just interesting watching my little cousin who's 9 engage with technology because she doesn't know a world without it, and constant stimulation and constant something to do that doesn't necessarily involve her imagination. It's just consuming. It's going to be interesting to see how these young people become adults and how they process the world, because when we were kids, you know, the PlayStation was like the biggest, and I'm talking about the very first PlayStation, and I think before that, what was it, a Nintendo? That was like the biggest thing
Yeah.
ever. And I'm sure it was a godsend to my mom who like needed something for us to do, 3 kids
hmm
for like hours, and that was the perfect thing. But like before that, it was like we would take a box and like create a whole narrative around this box. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Like, and it was a good time. And I don't know, it's just interesting because I was so used to using my imagination and creating in my head that I don't know, it's just interesting that kids don't have to do that at all.
Yeah, it is weird. And I feel like it's takes time away from, like you said, like creating and like the arts. Like um we didn't always like paint and stuff, but like because like we played in the dirt and like drew in the dirt with like sticks and like I don't
Try
know,
to dig a
just made
hole
all
to China. Did you ever
yeah,
do that?
right. I think we tried to go, we're like, oh, let's see how far we can go. And like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
kids,
yeah.
so like not very far at all. Cause we're like, oh, we're gonna hit like lava. And it's like, even though
Okay, that's beautiful. Oh wow, the innocence. We're gonna hit lava.
right. Well, and it's funny
Oh,
too, because you like
that's so cute.
you know that like no one else has done it, but you're still a kid and you're like, oh, I'm like 8. I can do it. Like these giant like oil tankers like don't even do it, but like I'm gonna do
That's
it.
beautiful. That mindset. I'm sorry, but go on.
Oh no, yeah. I'm like, it's sad now kids are like just like you said, like fed all the content. Like, yeah, and we would like definitely with the boxes, we would try to make I feel like we make cars and like planes and stuff. And I remember like flying was a big deal. Like I don't think I flew till I was in like middle school or something, but I
Yeah.
remember like going with my grandparents to like drop my parents off and like we'd like wave and like look at the plane and you know like stuff like that. And like I mean I guess now people aren't allowed in airports like for safety, which I totally get, but I feel like just like too like the whole like I don't know. And I guess maybe it's just when you're a kid everything is like so exciting, you know, and then you get older and you just get like jaded with it.
Mm, I agree. I do wonder though, it's like I just had a thought. I was like, is it that they're not using their imagination, or are they just using their imagination differently than us? Because, you know, I guess it definitely takes some, I don't know if that's imagination or what, just creativity to keep up with like some of the online trends that so many of the little kids actually do participate in. But again, for me, it's like consuming content constantly is very different from being a creator or actually reimagining something completely, like whole systems. Like when I think about, not that I'm an expert in him, um, who was the guy? She's Nikola Tesla.
Oh yeah.
One of the unique things, abilities he had, I believe, was his power of imagination and his ability to visualize things that were not there. He had like this unique ability from the time he was a kid, and it makes sense that he'd become an inventor and all that stuff later. But he had this unique ability to picture things in his head, and I just worry that little kids don't have that developed as much because they don't have to do that.
Yeah. But I wonder, like what you were saying earlier, like I think there's definitely like some disconnect there. But then what if like all their ideas are just like more like technological, like apps and um
It's just different.
yeah, like you said, yeah, it's just different. Like us like playing with cardboard boxes is like them making like a really intense TikTok because those things are tough.
It takes so much time. I can't believe how much time it takes. Like It's like so much of our lives are becoming digital. It's so interesting. That thing, I did a TikTok and it was a fail, but it took an hour to get that fail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it took an hour. That's wow. It's a full-time job for sure.
Yeah, like, definitely, like, and it's crazy because yeah, you could spend a whole afternoon to make one TikTok, and then, like, add on top of it, like, homework and sports and, like, helping with dinner and chores and stuff, like, I don't know how these I guess they just don't sleep that much.
Yeah, no. It's all sugar.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But I am excited to see how the little star seeds, because, we don't go away, how they start to reimagine how technology can improve lives. Because I feel like that's always like the Starseed agenda to like make things more beautiful, make it better for everyone, and especially for the planet. I'm interested to see how they grow up and, come into their own.
And you know what I think, especially with I feel like that younger generation is so into, like, nature and sustainability and, like, being just, like, kind to the planet. I feel like they're gonna somehow merge, like, the technology and nature into some way that's gonna be, like, really cool that we haven't seen before. Um, or at least that's my hope. I'm, like, putting it all on these, like, poor young kids. I'm like, "Oh, you guys will fix everything." But I think they can, like like, babies now have iPhones, and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
we didn't even have cell phones when we were baby like, anyone, no one had a cell phone.
Well, that was another thing that was a big deal when we were kids, right? Because cell phones weren't like cheap. What do you call
Mm-mm.
those? The sidekicks? They weren't cheap. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was in middle school.
Yeah, I got mine, in college or no, I got it in high school, but,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, high school.
Yeah, it was a
But we
big
had
deal.
the Nokia with that little snake game. Yeah, and it was a big deal to get, like, the matching little, like, $10, like, faceplate that you put on it to, like, get a different color,
The
and you had to pay
phone.
per text. Yeah.
Yes. Or how
So you wouldn't
about,
text people, yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't text people, you had to call people at a certain time. I remember when when my mom was using the landline phone and I was trying to use the computer, I think I couldn't use the internet. Like, do you
Mhm.
remember those days and AOL and all that stuff? So
And
fun.
faxes, like
So, okay, can I just say by the time I graduated, well, was in college and did my first internship, my boss was so like bewildered by me because I didn't know how to use a fax. I was like, "What is this monstrosity?" When you have an email. I was just like, "What is that?" And she was just like, "You don't know how to use a fax." And I was just like, "No. I thought these are obsolete." And she was just like so offended, so pissed. I just it it's just funny to reminisce on some of the stuff. Oh my gosh, and do you remember, ringtones?
Oh, yeah, oh my gosh, and I remember I would, use these sketchy websites to get, like, free ringtones because I, like, wouldn't pay the, like, $2 or whatever, so I'd, like,
Yeah.
spend all this time and, like, risking, like, getting malware to, like, save myself from, like, $1.99 to, like, pay for a ringtone.
You've always been down with the system, like, "Forget the system, I'm going around it, I'm gonna
Yeah,
find another
exactly,
way."
I'm like, I'm not giving you money for a ringtone."
Yeah. I remember I would have someone burn a CD. That is a throwback. Have someone burn a CD, and it was a big deal. Like, I remember going to school, and my teachers used to be like, "You kids stealing music are gonna go down," one day. It's just like, okay, whatever. Oh my
I had a
gosh.
sister who was, like, super against, like, pirating and copying music and stuff, and, like, she's still to this day but now she,
Get
like,
it?
shares Netflix passwords and stuff. I'm like, "It's the same thing."
It is. It
But
is. I get it. I mean, I feel like, so what do you call people who use like the fire sticks and stuff? Like, isn't that like, do you know what I'm talking about?
is that where, like, you can I don't know, I thought that was where you would stream it from your, like, computer to your TV, but I could be wrong.
Maybe it's correct, but I'm talking about this like attachment thing you can get. I thought it was called a fire stick. Maybe it's called something else. I think there are different versions, but essentially you're using what appears to be pirated videos and series from this thing. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. I don't know
Oh,
if it's illegal. Never mind. I don't have it, so it's
yeah.
fine. But I've definitely seen them. It's just like, what do you call that? I don't know.
Yeah, or I remember, I don't know how long ago it was. Like, I have no concept of how long ago it was, but I remember there was one time where it was like during Super Bowl, they like showcased like five like teenagers or college students or like middle schoolers, like younger kids that had gotten arrested for pirating music and the ads, and they were like, it's not worth it. Now I have to go to jail. But they were like so melodramatic. And I was like, I feel so bad for these five. I mean, hopefully they were just actors.
Yeah.
You know how on like all the like medicine ads, it's like cures spina bifida or something, and then it's like a really healthy like person, and you're just like, I don't know. But yeah, at the bottom it's like paid actor. But yeah, I know it's like how bad if it like these five kids actually got arrested because no one else got arrested, but they were just trying to be like, oh, you guys are all gonna get arrested. But I remember it was during the Super Bowl and they played like multiple ones. And yeah, my sister's like eating it up. She's like, see, you're gonna go to jail. Like
She's so cute. No, I was
yeah.
scared every time I'd see one of those stories. I'd be like, oh, they actually arrest you for this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
There are so many worse crimes, but I guess.
Yeah, right. Like now I feel like there's no way to monitor it at all, but um
Well, now
hopefully at
everyone's
least yeah.
streaming. It's like just
Yeah.
so easy. Well, that's the new thing. And maybe we'll talk about this online, but I see a lot of people, I mean offline. A lot of people, the new thing is subscription services. I feel like we're like, what did they call it? I've read articles about like the thank you economy or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to
I don't really remember it.
yeah, me neither. I'm like it's like the unplugged maybe or disconnected.
Something.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The new economy. Yeah.
A new economy, but it's internet, it's like service based. I think it's internet based, and it's not necessarily like going to companies, like big companies for services. It's like small, like entrepreneurs, like YouTubers, and like just whatever. It's really interesting, and it's really, there's just so much opportunity. And speaking of the law of attraction and manifesting, I'm really excited for you and I to manifest multiple streams of passive income, girl. Snap, snap, snap,
Yay!
snap.
Dude, this is the year. Like, we gotta do it.
This girl just I went to high school with. I'm very proud of her. We were never friends, but I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
She just did a story on Facebook about how she made money off of passive income, how she read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It changed her life. She made money off of an Airbnb that she just created, and like everything fell into place after that. And I was just so inspired and so excited because I think in my mind, Jennifer, like, and you're really great about this, about helping us rethink things, but like, I feel like in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, it's possible, but it's not going to happen to me. Like, it's not going to happen for me. I'm wasting my time, but like, it is possible and people do it all the time and it's not complicated. I think that's another thing in my head. I think it's way more complicated than it actually is, especially when I think back to some of the products and services I've purchased. It's literally like, I'm talking about some of the educational stuff. It's literally stuff you can find on the internet, readily available and for free, but like organized, and you know what I'm saying? And I just spent $30 for this folder of like content I have to go through on my own. So that's fun.
Dude, my sister got one time she did a like meal plan from an Instagrammer. Jaleesa, it was $50 for a one-page PDF, and like under it, it was just like categories, and then it would have like a few items, but like one of them was like a snack, rice cakes with peanut butter, and we're just like, what? Like these aren't even recipes. It's just like, oh, put some peanut butter in your rice cakes, which is like a delicious snack, but like, do you really pay like for this whole PDF? And
Look, I'm
like,
not mad at it though,
yeah,
because
no.
if you have the money, I like, for me, because my job takes up so much, and your job does too, it takes up so much time during the week. I am all for convenience. And if
Mhm.
someone creates a shopping list for me, which I did pay for before, by the way, if someone creates a shopping list for week by week and tells me what to eat, it's like, hey, I'm happy with that, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
like peanut butter with rice cakes.
But we just were like, maybe if she'd like put like another page or two behind it to be like peanut butter or like include like a protein and a carb or like something to make it seem like she was an expert, not just like a Pinterest board, but like nicely laid out.
Yeah, basically.
But like you said, like good for her. Like, why not? If you have
Well,
good snack ideas, sell them on a PDF for $50.
I'm leaving the group I'm a part of now, actually. I think I told you this. I already emailed them and told them I was going. But luckily, before I've officially ended my subscription, they did a live with a lawyer. Um,
Oh,
and he talked about law and business, the difference between the disclaimers and like waivers, which are much more powerful, and so on and so
huh.
forth. And like how law is just about relationships and like, documents that you put together to outline everything about how you're going to work with someone. And that's it. And I loved it. I hope when they upload it to the group that I can download it low key.
Yeah.
I won't talk too much about it, but I would love for you to see it because I halfway listened to it because I was multitasking, but I felt like the way he broke it down was really easy and simple to understand. And it was like, it's doable. Like I see, because things like that intimidate me. Talking about law and business, talking about trademarking your business and your name, all of this, talking about insurance and waivers and all of it just gives me anxiety. And that's actually part of the reasons why I'm just like, maybe this is not for me, but actually it is. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Or and it's like that's all like front end stuff, like for the most part. So like once you get over it, then you don't like have to mess with it again, which is good.
Exactly. Awesome. And I also had the opportunity to speak with someone named Lucy Cavendish. She's an author. She's also done um, the creator of tarot cards. She has a podcast, and she saw one of my posts about Black Lives Matter, and she just wanted to kind of unpack that and like the spiritual stuff around some of what's happening today. And so we had the chance to talk about that on Wednesday, midnight my time, like
Oh
3
wow.
p.m. her time. Yeah, I don't know how great my answers were because I was actually quite like I was excited but also exhausted like by that
Yeah, oh my
time.
gosh, I bet. Like and especially in the middle of the week too, because I feel like the beginning of the weeks are always so tough. And then Wednesday at midnight, like
I tried to go to sleep early on Tuesday so I could be really fresh for Wednesday, and it worked for like the beginning to the middle of the day. But towards the end, I'm just like, oh, this is not the best time for me to be doing interviews, but it's all good. Um,
oh
yeah, but shout out to her for inviting me on and being so open and interested in what I had to say and about the movement and like just like spiritually what it could mean for a person as well. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
yeah, do you have the link to it? Like we'll have to like I'll definitely watch it and then we can like link it here.
Definitely. I don't have the link yet. I have no idea when it's going to be ready because I get the sense that these are like months in advance. But I'm
Oh,
definitely
gotcha.
going to reach out to her like, hey, like,
Yeah.
hi. I know we just spoke. Super excited. um, but yes, so that's fun. And it's like interesting to see how like easy just putting yourself out there, you can get press. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest and open about who you are and your authentic self online gets you noticed. And that really opened my eyes to that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since you and I are always talking about like being authentic, you know?
Dude, and you know what's so funny is I feel like one of my realizations with this full moon eclipse, like for a few days, like this week. Oh, sorry. Of course, someone's mowing the lawn, but
It's all good.
someone in my neighborhood is always like mowing the lawn or doing construction like behind us or something. Um, but oh yeah, I was just like I felt like pretty like angry at my ex over like the weekend and like through maybe like Tuesday. And then I was thinking because I was like, oh, we just like because he like had told like a lot of lies and stuff. And then I was like, well, I guess like I was lying in the relationship saying that the relationship was okay for me. And I was like, oh, that's why it's like making me so mad because I was mad that he was doing it. But I was like doing it. And I know that's like a mean thing. You could never like tell that to someone. Oh, what'd you lie about in the relationship? And it's like, oh, liking you. But yeah, so I don't know. Going forward, I'm going to be more authentic in all aspects, like including relationships. So
That is so honest and so real. Like to reflect, and I love when people do this. By the way, like when people, for me, it's always a red flag when people are like, "Oh, I had this relationship, but I was perfect and they weren't." Like that's not real to me. You know what I'm saying? So I always
mm,
like when people are like really honest about like their part in their relationship because everyone has a part to play in everything, right? So I think that's really cool that you're just like, oh, I can actually see the places where I wasn't like my most honest self about this and what wasn't working for me. So that's really cool.
yeah, like I was, yeah, I don't know. Like, did you feel like a lot of like eclipse energy? Was yours anger too? Mine was like, I was like so angry. I was like, I can't believe he did this. It's, like so angry. And I'm like not really an angry person. I was so angry.
The closer we got to the eclipse, the more intense it became. And I just had to sit with it. I got an email, not an email, a text from a coworker, and I won't get too into it, but essentially I do social media and they wanted me to add something to social media. And I like woke up and I saw the message and I was like on one. I was just on one. Me and another colleague was on the was on the message. She responded in a very nice way, like, "Hey, we can update this, no problem." I was just like, "We don't have to add that to the social media post necessarily. There's no rule of thumb that says we have to do this. And by the way, this is not an emergency, and there's no need to be texting me on the weekend when I'm spending time with my family and blah 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 blah." I like was beside myself. I just felt like I was like, I for me it felt like she was violating my personal time and space. It's like this is not a on one hand, I had a point. It's like this is not an emergency. You don't really need to be texting me about it. This could wait until Monday. So that's great. But I feel like that message definitely got lost because of the anger that like accompanied it. Um So I definitely felt, and I thought I was the only one, by the way. I was just like, this is strong. This is really strong energy.
Yeah, I was like going to like I thought about like tweeting it out and being like, is anyone else angry? And then I was like, I don't want to like add to like my anger and like put it out to the universe more than it has to be. But like,
Girl, I felt it.
yeah, I was like so angry.
Wait, and
And
I
I'm
think I
still like a
text
little
you.
angry, but like,
Yeah,
or I mean, about that situation, but like definitely better. Like I couldn't sleep at all. And I can't remember
yeah.
if it was Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, but like one day, like around the eclipse, I could not sleep at all. And I was just like staying up like angry and watching YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know what to do with myself either. I was just like, maybe I should do a cleanse or something, like a detox, because this is not cute. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was just like, I just kind of want to be angry. I was like pissed the whole weekend, like super pissed, super stressed. Like everything about that situation and other situations that I've ever felt like pissed about or upset about or anything that bothers me about my job definitely came to the surface that weekend, I have to say.
Yeah, like it was way more intense than I thought it would be. Like,
Mhm.
because I know eclipses are always big, but I feel like I don't. Well, I guess maybe this was just like the angry eclipse. But it's funny because I feel like everything I read about was like, in which now I can't even remember, but nothing said anything about like anger or anything. And that because I was like, oh, it'll be a good eclipse. Which I mean, I guess it is now, but like at the time, I like definitely I've like felt it. I was glad it's over.
Very cleansing, but I did enjoy also going outside and looking at, you know, the sky. It was very nice.
Dude, the moon was so pretty. It was like it was so bright and ours was like kind of like goldy, orangey,
Oh,
like yeah, it was yours or
I don't remember. I went out and looked at the moon very late. So it could have been at some point in the night, but I probably didn't catch it. Yeah. And also it was pretty cold.
yeah, I
um,
can't even imagine.
yeah, in New York, it's the temperature has definitely dropped. But I did do a lot of like prayers. some Tao healing prayers offered to myself, and like offering my anger to the earth just to neutralize it for me, so that it doesn't grow, but just so it neutralizes. So I found that to be quite helpful, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, but I wish I hadn't responded. Like, there was a part of me that was like, "Don't respond to this right now. Don't respond to this right now." But there was a stronger urge in me that was like, "I have something to say," you know.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Well, I
that
feel
was
like it's
intense.
tough when it feels like people are like violating you, like you like there's a part of you like you definitely like need to stand up for yourself. Like so I guess that part was just like more
I
intense.
think that there's like a sense, like a part of it, and I don't know where that energy came from, that violation energy, what the root of it is, but like I think that sometimes at organizations where everyone is so passionate, there's a sense of urgency and sometimes
Mm.
lack of boundaries that like really kind of annoys me a little bit. It's just like we all want to do our best. We all want to get this information out there. We all want the world to hear about us and to know who we are. But that doesn't mean we need to text each other on the weekend when it's just not that serious, like half the time, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you know what I feel like with startups too is I feel like the founder is so passionate and they're working all the time and they
Yes.
kind of just like because their energy is contagious. So at work, everybody's like all like on the same page. But like, I feel like especially founders don't like it, understand that employees have boundaries and it's not their company. Like that's at least like my experience is like,
You're on
um,
point. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, if it was your company, of course you would work all weekend and however long you wanted, but like, it's not your company. You know what I'm saying?
That, and frankly, if you want more of my time, you have to pay me for it.
Yeah.
I'm not making pennies. I'm very grateful, but there's boundaries here. You can't. I'm not making six figures. Like, don't call me on the weekend. You're not paying me to do
Yeah.
that. Like, no. But yeah,
Yeah. That's when, like, if they want you to do that, yeah, give you some equity, make you like a part owner. But like, if you're not a part owner and you're not like
mm,
benefiting from the company's success, like, I don't
I,
know. Let
I
me have my weekends.
let me have my weekends. I also get the sense that there's a little bit of competitiveness amongst people at my job. Like, to
Mm,
be completely honest, I think people like are a little competitive about showing how devoted they are to this, which is
hmm.
cool for them. But I don't live to work. I work to live. And I'm very
Yeah.
open and honest about that. And I sometimes feel like if you're not on calls during your vacation, we just had a call now, and I think someone is on vacation visiting somewhere else and joined. And I'm just like, for what? Like, enjoy your life. This is
Yeah.
what you do, you know? I don't know. Um, but there's a sense of like not wanting to miss a thing, and I just don't necessarily feel that. Like, I'm very passionate about this. I'm excited to be here. I feel the excitement. I love working with energized and enthused people. I also work to live. And so when
Yeah.
I'm living on a holiday weekend, don't want nobody calling me, texting me unless it's an emergency. Okay, like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I forgot it was a holiday weekend too. Like, nah.
uh, honestly, all of that energy that I emoted in those texts was not necessary. And I recognize that. So I will work on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. See, it's a good learning lesson. And yeah, mine was like too, because I'm always like, be authentic, be authentic. And I was like, oh, bitch here needs to be authentic all the time or in all circumstances. So, but we'll get there.
We'll definitely get there 100%. And I mean, everyone has to, like, to some extent, compromise to keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
we do that in
Yeah.
friendships all the time. Like, there are, like, I don't want to say like lies, but like white lies, that maybe happen for me anyway to save someone's feelings, or like, I mean, I'm a Pisces. You can't fault me for this. It's
Yeah.
not my fault. But you know what I'm saying? To like save someone's feelings, or like, I don't know. I feel like that's normal.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely normal. But like, yeah, mine was just like dragged out too long. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I just started like binge watching Jen M videos. I don't know if you know her on YouTube. Like,
Yeah,
She was like an OG and I like
Yeah,
missed out. And then like now I'm like catching, I mean, I'm not ever gonna catch up, but like now I'm like, oh, I get it. She's like adorable. And
adorable. And she
and
cares
like, yeah,
so much. Oh my
she seems
gosh.
so sweet. And like her boyfriend's cute. And like, oh, so that was it. I watched their like proposal video and I'm like tearing up and stuff.
Right?
And like, they're so cute. But like Jaleesa, I was watching it and I was like, I never felt this way about
Oh,
any of my boyfriends.
me either.
Yeah, and I was like, this is what it should feel like
Hmm.
in like relationships. But I was like, that was like really eye opening because like, yeah, you tell yourself these like white lies and you're like, oh yeah, like this is good, like this is fine. But then you see other people's stuff and you're like, I'm like, dude, I can have that. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't need to settle for
And it's
gosh,
like,
whatever.
it's not about it being perfect. It's about it feeling right. And I think you
Mhm.
know when it feels right. It's when you're like,
Mhm.
want to get back to this person as soon as possible because they're like my best friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then
And
when they were like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're the love of my life," and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. I've
I
never
was
felt
like,
that way.
"That's like, yeah, right." Like I feel like you like maybe like say stuff like I don't even think I ever said that like all the way to I think I said it to one person, but like someone I dated like 10 years ago. But like, yeah, I don't know, definitely my past few relationships, like not even close. Like, and this guy, like you could tell he like means it, like when he says it. And I was just like, my heart, and I was like, oh my gosh. But it's
But
definitely like
also,
heart opening for me.
very, and she's like, it's so cute. Whoever watches this needs to go watch that video. She's like ugly crying, and it's the most adorable thing ever. She's like sobbing, and it's so real. She's not looking cute while she's doing it. She's literally sobbing as he's on his knee. It's so funny, but also adorable. I watched it too, actually, recently. That's so funny that you brought that
Really?
up.
That is interesting.
Maybe I watched your one of your I think tarot videos, and I think you said, I think this was you, something about someone coming in the new year for that group. So I was just like,
Ooh. Oh, yeah, yeah,
hey.
yeah. Dude, I feel like there's a lot of love energy on the planet right now, or like in the like future law of attraction, wherever that vortex energy space is. Like, I feel like it's like there for people, like in abundance too. I feel like we just have to like really work on like opening our hearts and like believing that we're worthy, which is like so much easier said than done. But like, I feel like it's like there, which like, I don't know, like I said, like, I feel like this next year is going to be different. Like, I just feel like really like magical, like sparkly vibes like coming up. And like I said, we might still have to like go through some stuff to get there, but it's like there.
It's there. I love it. And before you go, because I know you have to go soon, um, I wanted to say, if you want, we can like come back on sometime in the future and do our vision board party because I know we said I know we said we wanted to do it. I need to get some magazines.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning and I was like, oh, I don't have anything. But yeah, maybe this weekend, like if we get some magazines or like print out some pictures. Like my printer only does black and white, but I can like color it.
Yeah, and whatever you're like feeling, sparkling apple juice or like I feel like I don't know if I want to do wine while we do it because wine is a downer. It's nice before bed, but
Yeah.
it is a downer. So I was thinking like I kind of want to do sparkling juice or like something that's cleansing or just to set the intention further.
Yeah, I told you my sister and I've been drinking kombucha with like little berries in it, and it looks so fancy, and it's like kombucha.
You have to remind me to pick that up because I love kombucha, especially
Mhm.
like they have a rose flavor and I forgot the brand. Never mind. There's so many brands now, kombucha.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like there's so many flavors too. Like I we were grocery shopping and looking at the kombucha and she was like, "Oh, that's like we saw some that were they look like they're in beer cans." And we're like, "Oh, that's interesting. I never saw it in kombucha." And then the one and she's like, "Well, which brand should we try?" And I was like, "Oh, that Bucci brand is really good." And she's like, "Okay, well, what flavor?" And I was like, "Oh, I just have blueberry. Now there's like 10 flavors and like
There's
blueberry isn't even one of them." And I was like, "Oh, that was a while ago." But like a while ago it was like more low key and now it's like any flavor you want.
it's just another sign that
Hmm.
everything is becoming more mainstream and it's awesome. They're
Dude,
catching
it's
up.
so cool. Yeah. we thought we were gonna be like outcast forever and like just living alone, like, or at least I did, like in a witch bookstore, like with like
Yeah.
long hair and like a wart, and that's like how I saw my future. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, wait, I can just walk outside.
Yeah. And be a leader too, right?
Hmm.
That's so funny. I actually also thought that I would have to have my own home with my garden because I would tell people these things like, "Oh, I want a garden and like a really great home and like maybe a storefront." And people were just like, "You don't want to go to Miami and like get fucked up." I mean, excuse me,
Get
drink.
your,
And
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
be like, "That's not really a goal of mine like in life." I don't care. That does not excite me at all. Like nothing wrong with partying and like, but I want to get these energy
Yeah.
centers balanced.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm all on this like um I don't know if it's a self-love kick entirely or just like good stuff kick, like a nice kick. Like I'm like, I only want to do stuff if it's like gonna be like nice to my body. Whereas I know if I like go and like were to like drink a ton, like I would feel so awful. My body would like hate me. And
Yeah.
I'd probably like get sick and then have a headache on top of it. And I'm like, why would I do that when I can just have like kombucha and like a fancy like stemless wine glass with some blueberries and then like make some like chocolate oatmeal cookies and
That sounds really well. You know what? Also, some people only feel free when they're like that. So
oh, that's true. Yeah.
it's interesting. And there's some work that needs to be done there. I occasionally like to,
Yeah.
have a good time, but to your point, it's like not. I don't necessarily intentionally go out to drink that much to the point where I'm sick or I'm hungover. I genuinely dislike being hungover. It's not fun. Or I've never been so drunk that I've blacked out either. I don't understand how people get to that point. Like that's nuts to me. Like that you drank so much that you're just gone. It's like,
Oh,
whoa.
dude, that was my college. I think
Oh,
that's also why I'm like, like now I'm like so calm because I had like that like college experience.
oh wow. So it's all out of your system.
Yeah, well, and I think too that's like why I kind of like balanced it out because like I feel like it's just like so hard on your body that like that's why like now I'm like I want to be like soft and like kind and like just kind of like balance off all the like harshness and like I've already done it, like and I know it's just like really hard on your like body, but um yeah, dude, no fun.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. I know someone who recently went to Cancun during this time. I don't know what they were doing there, but they said there were a lot of people in Cancun.
I've
And
heard that too.
yeah,
Like
I
and
don't
seen people on Instagram that I'm like acquaintances of, and I'm like, what are you guys doing in Cancun? But anyway, whatever.
it's like the thing apparently. And they were like how so many people like he saw like how this family was out drinking and the mom and dad like they had to call the ambulance for the mom and dad because they were that drunk. And I was like, were there children adults? Like what is going on?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't want to see my parents like that, to be honest.
No. And I don't know if you like, I remember when I was in like younger too, I was always like thought that the parents that gave the alcohol to like the kids and the friends were like the cool parents. And now that I'm older, I'm like, no, like that sounds like so sad that
Yeah.
like the way you get your kids to love them is to like buy them alcohol. But like it's just different how like your perspectives change based on like where you are like in your life.
So I actually drank when I was a teen with my mom. Um, Not with her, but she would allow us to have beers, like wine coolers. And her thing was if you drink here and in the house, then you won't feel the need to go out and drink, which was cool. And I actually think it worked for me when I was a teenager. I never felt the need to like go get drunk because I knew I could drink at home. It was fine. And I never felt the need to really overdo it at home because, it's like weird to get drunk at your house with your parents. It's like, what?
Oh no, that's that. See, I think sorry, I like didn't fully elaborate, but I meant like because we had like girls friends whose moms would like take shots with us.
No,
Yeah,
it's
because yeah,
just,
I'm like getting wine is like one thing or beer, but like taking
mhm.
shots with your kids, like, but like we said, they were like, oh, you guys are the cool parents, and then you're just like, dude, like who does that? I mean, whatever, no judgment, but like,
It is kind of like the boundaries. It's like, what's going
yeah.
on? You're not, it's like cool if you want to be your child's friend, but you're also, I always feel like you're the parent first. Like you're
Mhm.
there to guide first and foremost and protect. So like, I don't know. My mom never gave me shots or anything like that, but she
Yeah,
would
your mom
allow me to
didn't,
have a
like, turn up with you.
no.
Yeah,
If
see, that would,
anything,
like yeah.
she was turning up by herself and I would
Yeah,
just sit there
which
with
is fine.
my
Yeah,
little wine cooler and just like whatever, eat dinner. It's all good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, college, like, tough times. Or
Girl.
just, like, 20s, like and I feel like now it's gotta be so hard too with, like, Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, like, because 'cause I'm like, I feel like I was insecure enough with just, like, Facebook and I forget it was called Web Shots. It was, like, I guess the precursor to Instagram. Do you remember that? Where you just, like,
Yeah.
upload your photo albums? And but, like, now with all this stuff, like, I can't imagine being, like, 20 right now or 21, I guess. Like
I definitely think we don't talk about body dysmorphia enough. I think a lot of people have body dysmorphia actually and like don't even realize like how Instagram is like fueling that. Like they think that they look weird because their boobs are not sitting up here even though naturally women boobs don't
yeah.
usually sit like that. Like that's just it's like a plastic surgery look that's like almost feels like uniquely American or whatever.
Mhm.
That's like weird. Like I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Like I have started to unfollow accounts that don't make me feel good. So like I love seeing people do fitness and stuff like that because I think it's cool and stuff like that. But when people are like when I follow too many people who look like Coca-Cola bottles or like have these
Mhm.
humongous butts and humongous chest and like big lips and it makes me feel like something's wrong with my face and my body and my life and so I just stopped looking at it because it's not healthy for me.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like not healthy for society, but like hopefully, like I said, I see like sparkly vibes in our future, so hopefully we'll like turn. And
I think
also
we
like
are.
yeah, I feel like Instagram and YouTube lately, have you seen and I know I have to go call it 2:45, but I have like 3
Mhm.
minutes. But have you seen all these like bought myself thousands of dollars of Christmas presents videos like and
No,
oh, a
I
lot
want to
of people have been
watch.
posting them and like it's like and I don't know too I'm like I don't know I feel like they just those videos are just like making me sad too because I'm like there's all these people that like lost their jobs and like are literally dying but then also I'm like I understand like you worked hard for your money but it just seems like some of the videos they just are like throwing it in like your face that they're like have so much money and so I definitely have like stopped following those accounts too like
I really love when people have a balance, when they show how much they
hmm
care about the environment or animals or people or whatever their thing is. Right before you leave, I know you have to go.
yeah
Um,
I'm like I don't have yeah
I love when when there's like kind of a balance. And to your point, it's like, who am I to tell you what to do with your money? It's
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you
cool.
worked hard, but like, there's like a line, I feel like in Instagram too, like
I
between
definitely feel
Photoshop
like,
and real life.
yeah, I think people are a little tone deaf. Like they're just not concerned
hmm
about what's happening outside of their immediate world. So, but that's why we're here, Starseeds.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's gonna be, I'm like, we're gonna get there.
Yeah. We're gonna be
So,
gifting people, homeless people, like gift packages and ish. I
dude, I
think that's
can't
gonna
even
be
wait. Like, it's gonna be so nice. Yeah.
amazing. All right, cool. Well, I am going to pause and we're gonna be Starseed friends out in just a
Yay.
second. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.